Now, while we've got Chico up, we might as well just talk about this weather. Has it been awful or what? Had a guy the other day, we brought the dog in here because it was out without a doghouse, and he didn't see any reason why the dog had to have a doghouse. He just didn't get that. So we encouraged him to follow the law. If you're just letting your dog out to go potty, you don't have to have a doghouse. But if it's out there for more than an hour or two, you do have to have a doghouse so that they can get in and keep their body temperature warm. And like I explained to him, he says his dog won't use a doghouse. Well, I'm not sure he knows because he didn't have one to find out. But regardless, it's the dog's choice. If you've got a doghouse that's the proper size for the dog and he doesn't want to go in it, well, that's okay, but it has to be available to him in this terrible weather. And the animal control laws in Carroll County dictate it. We got a little more specific with the laws in Carroll County because it was easier for us to show somebody what proper shelter is than have a person thinking it was just our opinion, and it just worked easier. Maryland state law says that a dog or an animal in general has to have proper shelter, and what that means is proper shelter for this dog is different than a proper shelter for a St. Bernard. Proper shelter for a 10-year-old St. Bernard is going to be different than for a 2-year-old St. Bernard. Proper dog for a shelter for a short-coated dog is going to be different than one for a double-coated dog. So that says proper. Now in Carroll County we sort of defined what that means a little bit more. But common sense can pretty much tell you what proper is if you just listen to your brains. They need a little more food in the wintertime to generate more body heat. They need their water changed a lot so that they have fresh water. Most animals do not like to drink really ice cold, just about to freeze water. They like more room temperature or better when they're outside. They need water for their digestive system. They need water for their hydration. And most animals need more water in the winter than they do in the summer. So you want to be careful where you walk them so they don't get a lot of ice that is not animal friendly, all stuck up in their little pads and things. You want to make sure they're well groomed because their coats insulate. They keep them warm in the summer, and you know what? It keeps them cool in the. It keeps them warm in the winter and keeps them cool in the summer. Mm-hmm. But if they're not properly groomed and they're all matted and clumped up and dirty, the coats can't work. And so you need to have the animal properly groomed. Hopefully, you didn't not groom your animal all the way up until last week and then decide to shave it down. But you just want to look at them, and if you're uncomfortable, you can kind of assume they might be uncomfortable. And it's an interesting thing. A dog can sit out there, and you've seen them shaking when it's cold, but once hypothermia sets in, shaking stops. And one might think, oh, dog's fine, it's not shaking. Dog might be getting ready to go on the stage for hypothermia and headed on the way out the back door and not be shaking anymore. So, there's a lot of things you need to think about. You can go online, look at shelter, proper shelter, hypothermia, look at all those things and study up on it. But the bottom line is it's cold out there, and animals need proper protection from the weather according to state law.
One thing to mention, and you might have, I was paying attention to Chico, is in the dog houses to use straw for bedding instead of blankets and towels. Yep. The blankets and towels really hold that temperature and they hold the dampness, where the straw and bedding will act as an insulator. Yeah,
it does. It's better to put straw or anything but towels or blankets or comforters because they do. They maintain the moisture. They hold it. Well, you know how you put your towels out? Well, you don't put them out on the line so much anymore. But when your mother used to, and maybe you still do, if it was a lot of moisture in the air, the towels just absorbed it. And of course, if the dog's got long hair, he's out in the snow and he goes in, he's all Candy, my dog, my Westie, she has this little fine hair like this, and she goes outside for a few minutes and she ends up with like a snowball dog.
Like snowballs all on the ends.
All over. And if they go back in that doghouse and then all that melts in the doghouse, then you've got blankets that are soaking wet. So there you go. Those are just some tips, but the bottom line is use some common sense. If you see an animal out there, if you see a dog out there and it is confined and it does not have what you consider to be proper shelter, give us a call. We'll go look. We'll go talk to them. We'll see what's going on. But we can't make people be kind, but we can make people adhere to the law. So you might think that dog shouldn't be left outside. I may not be able to make them take it inside, but I can make sure if it's going to be outside that it's got the best possible shelter that the law can provide.